Hey guys, welcome back to Clownfish TV. This is Kneon. I am here with Geeky Sparkles.
Hello.
And we're going to talk about K-Pop Demon Hunters, and why we're talking about it is it's coming out that Sony's hardly going to make any money off of this massive, massive hit.
Yeah, Netflix is going to take the lion's share of it because apparently it was part of a multi, show or film deal they had back in 2021.
Yeah, so they never expected it to go this big, right? Because a lot of people are like, hey, why didn't this movie hit theaters? We're going to talk about why it probably wouldn't have worked if it hit
would
theaters.
not have been where it is now if it had gone to theaters first. I'm just going to tell you straight out.
No.
I mean, people are trying to argue, if it had gone to theaters, it still would have succeeded.
No.
It would not have gone viral. It would not be what it is now if it had gone to theater first.
Yeah, and as a result, since it was on streaming, Sony's only going to make like $20 million, I guess, total out of this, which is crazy.
Yeah, and Netflix has Sony made from my understanding, Sony made the movie. It was part of a project deal that they, get up to $20 million is what they're allotted to make outside of what they're paid, I guess. I don't know. But it was part of this they bought the rights to run these different shows and probably paid for some of the cost. And then Sony's going to come out with $20 million and Netflix is getting to keep everything else, including the merchandising and all that stuff.
Yeah, but this is kind of the new reality, I think. I mean, honestly, for movies anymore, unless it's going to be like either if it's low budget or it's going to be a guaranteed hit. And let's be honest, outside of a few exceptions, a lot of the movies that hit the theaters, their animated movies especially, do not do that well anymore.
Animated do. Originals do, which is something we're going to talk about, in other videos, because I know Weapons is kicking all kinds of butt. Horror movies and some are doing well, but even they're not going to hit as high as this. This is breaking records. This is everybody. My sister's at work and she works a lot mom type women, and they're all coming up to her and saying, hey, did you watch this? And they're not people who normally would watch, K-pop type stuff or K-drama type stuff. It's just everywhere. There's all these videos. Everybody's doing the songs, including dads have their kids and the dads are doing the songs, and, everybody and their brother's doing it. And it's because it's become a pop culture. I can't think of something that's gotten this big for a while like this.
Frozen was probably a lot of people.
Yeah, since Frozen. Yeah, probably about Frozen. Yeah, or we don't talk about Bruno or something like that. But yeah.
So let's talk about how Sony kind of got hosed on this one. But this movie probably wouldn't have been made otherwise. So it's kind of like chicken or egg thing here. Before we get into it any further, please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants, guys. You will get a woohoo if you do.
Woohoo.
Go out to badworks.com. Go out to Kickstarter. You got about a week yet. We got a second chance offer for these work pins. We actually have the prototypes in hand. They're very, very nice. Very nice pins. And Geeky is going to be launching her own set of pins here next week, I believe. We're going to do some Halloween glow-in-the-dark pins. That is the current plan. So stay tuned for that. So this is Toon Hive. We'll start with this, and then we'll talk about why this is the case. It said the sing-along theatrical K-Pop Demon Hunters event has over 300 sold-out showings, leading to theaters asking for more additional showtimes.
Yeah, 2 shows was never enough. I told you guys that the other day.
Oh, yeah.
2 shows, not going to work. They need way more than that.
Netflix will keep all the box office money while Sony receives none. They're going to make $20 million total. So let's look into this and see why. This is coming from Forbes. Sony lost big on K-Pop Demon Hunters' record success, says report. They said the film's a colossal hit, so surely that must be working out great for Sony. Well, not so much, according to Matt Bellany. The problem is how the original deal was structured. Sony made K-Pop Demon Hunters for $100 million, then sold the rights to Netflix. Now reports are that Sony will end up making just $20 million in profit on the deal thanks to those terms, as anything that happens from here on out, it's all Netflix since they own the property.
Yeah, so basically they got paid $100 million. They probably spent $80 million, and then they get $20 million because it was part of a bigger deal, and they were desperate to get things picked up because people weren't picking things up. So they just said, okay, well, you take this big chunk for all these things, and that's what they did. They made a deal for it, and Netflix basically was taking all the risk.
Yeah. And a movie like this never would have been greenlit for theatrical. Let's be honest.
No. And that's the thing. People, okay, I just want to talk about that for a second. People keep saying, oh, if it had gone to theaters, it'd be bigger. Or it would have done the same thing, and theaters would have got money. No, it never would have. There's so many reasons why this wouldn't have worked. And I did a thing on it. Well, actually, I did it, and then you went and redid it for me. But
yeah.
there was a thing about this. It is like, remember we talk about pop culture and water cooler moments where basically everybody was watching the same things and they all talk about it there. This started out slow. It was never going to do well at the theater because it just came out of nowhere and there wasn't demand for it built up already. Two, not a lot of people, there's more and more people that are into K-pop, K-drama, those, Asian shows, anime, manga, and stuff as of late. But they're found on streaming services. And they tend to stay where you find them. So you're going to put this, people are willing to take a chance on something if it's on a streaming service they already have, that it is that they're going to have to get their butts in the car, drive to the movie theater, spend money on a ticket, spend money on food for something that may or may not work out. When it's at home, people are going to be like more comfortable about it. They're going to watch it. And then the word of mouth just exploded it. Now, I'm saying that movies can't do that. They can, but not the way this is going to do. It was never, ever, ever going to be what it is if it had just gone to theaters first. It never would have. And it's become huge. And it's because people, it's a pop culture experience everybody's sharing because they have access. Most everybody has Netflix. It's the biggest streaming service. They have access to it. That's why they'd have to pay extra money. A lot of people don't have the money to go to the movie theater. If you're going to ask them to go out of the way to go see it, they weren't going to do it, but they'd watch it at home. And because they did that, in the sense that's where the audiences for these kind of things tend to be, is on streaming anyway, it blew up. And then they tell their friends, and people started seeing everybody talking about it, like, what's the big deal? Then they went and watched it, and so on and so on. It's like the Wayne's World thing, and so on, and so on. It's like that.
Yeah. So this is, I mean, they cut the deal, back during the pandemic, and they said it's probably just to feed the Netflix machine. I mean, we had, like Klaus, and they were looking for animation back then, but they just figured, people would like it. They'd watch it and that'd be it. They had no way of knowing. They said the rest is history. They said K-pop Demon Hunters remains the #1 movie on Netflix 7 weeks after release. Something that's never been done before. And it was interesting because it started out slow and then it just like the next week went up some and then it kind of flatlined for like a week and then it just went up, up, up every time. Literally. We're going up, up. Yeah. So just kept going up, up, up. And it's huge. And now they're putting it in theaters and now it's selling out. Because it's limited theaters and it's for 2 showings. Where if it had been theatrical release, they would have put it in like 3,000 theaters or so. Yeah, and then it would have been like there's probably originally 10 people in a theater maybe. And it would have just died. Yes. But this way, the demand's there. People want to be part of, they want to be part of this experience. They want to go to the theater because it's a sing-along, and they want to go to the theater and sing with all their friends and sing with everybody else. And they want that connective experience, which is good, especially for like Gen Z, because they're out there looking for things like this. They want the 80s to return. They want that connective experience again. And it's funny because a lot of the audience for this are like the younger people, but it's the older people too. The moms at work are really into it. I am, but I would be. you were into K-pop and
it was K-drama and all that for years. So this is like right up my alley. But yeah,
I mean, they couldn't have foreseen this. The song is #1 on the Billboard Hot 100. They're the first K-pop group to be on there out doing Destiny's Child, and it's not even real.
Well, the other K-pop groups they could put on there, but it's the first girl group since Destiny's Child.
Okay, since Destiny's Child. They viewed it. Yeah, they said they view it as Frozen. It's I
honestly think this might have even more potential than Frozen, but like Frozen, the danger is they're going to kill it. Yeah. They're going to squeeze it to death and kill it is what I'm concerned about.
Yeah, they said as for Sony, the involvement in what happens next is unclear. Netflix, of course, needs something to make these future movies, and while Sony largely missed out on the success of the first film, I imagine they will not let that slip away the second or third time around. But the thing is that's weird about it is Sony's kind of sort of a competitor to Netflix because they're both fighting over anime streaming rights because they have Crunchyroll now. So it's kind of like, they made the best deal probably they thought they could for a movie like this. And they just thought it was going to be slop to throw on Netflix and, people watch for 2 weeks and then they wouldn't talk about it anymore.
Yeah, but this one resonated with people and I remember when you first said the trailer of it, you thought it looked stupid. I was like, oh my gosh, I gotta watch this. I mean, and I think that's where people were. Like, if you are somebody who likes anime, you like watch the K-dramas, you're into the K-pop music, and you like streaming and stuff. That's where the audience was for this initially. That was smart to put it there.
It to me, I was like, oh, okay, this is just like the most like streamy movie ever. It's like we're just gonna do like, okay, we're gonna do animation. We're gonna do K-pop and K-drama because that's popular now, and then we're gonna do like some Demon Slayer because that's popular now. And we're just gonna mash it up, and it's like, oh, it's done for it's like a sci-fi movie. It's like
that might be why they initially picked it up, was because of the buzzwords. But the person behind it, like, it was her pet project for years.
Yeah,
so she cared about it, and she actually used real references. And one of the people that co-wrote the music, this is the voice of Rumi, and she actually was, auditioned to be, went to the training and everything to be one of the girl groups, and it didn't work out. And it's our benefit that it didn't, because she can sing, and she also helped write the music. So it was a very well thought out. And while you might have a bunch of projects, some of them might be slop and crap, this one clearly wasn't, and it shows. Yeah, I mean, you could tell that there was a lot of care into it, a lot of thought went into it, and everything else. And the music's just really good. And you don't have to agree with me, because there's always somebody, the music sucks. It's a sucky show. You're stupid. Don't care. You're allowed to not like it. I am fine with that. But the majority like it. And that's why it's so huge. And it's just going to get bigger and bigger, because the people are embracing it in the cosplay communities. They're embracing it all across all the video platforms. It's like, you can't, do anything without running into some K-pop Demon Hunters cover, challenge, cosplay. Like, let's look like the characters. It's everywhere. Dads are singing it with their kids. It's everywhere.
Yeah. And it actually picked up momentum. That's what's so weird. Like, usually this stuff burns off in the first week or two. It actually picked up momentum, and they need more hits at Netflix because Stranger Things is going to be over, and Stranger Things, like, they've really dragged that one out.
But again, it was original at one point. This is original. It's not yet another IP that we've acquired that we're just going. They'll turn into that. But initially, it wasn't just an IP they acquired that they just going to ruin it and fundamentally not understand it and turn it to crap. Looking at you, Disney, it's an original something, and I think people like it because it's its own thing.
Yeah, and that's awesome. We need more of that. Like, I mean, if Gen Z is craving the '80s, in the '80s everything was new. Like, everything was new.
And it was creative.
It was creative.
And it pushed the envelope. And sometimes it worked and sometimes it didn't. This time it worked.
This time it worked. So, maybe they'll be incentivized to make new things again. Now,
I hope so.
What I can see happening because of this, though, is that it's going to be like J.K. Rowling with Harry Potter, where they didn't lock down the theme park rights because they never would have thought like some YA book is going to have a theme park attraction, and she made out like a bandit because they were just like, oh, publishing rights, and she got like everything else. They're going to lock down music rights. They're going to lock down all this stuff.
Yeah,
now.
I'm not sure what they've locked down with this, but I definitely could see over in Asia that somebody to want to park with the stuff, but not over here. But I just think that you need new things, you need unique things, but they have to be good things, and that's what Hollywood doesn't understand. Make new things, yes. You have to make good new things that people want to watch, and that have characters that people connect to, and they connected to these characters, and it was done pretty well. But now what's going to happen is the Hollywood takeaway is we need more of this, and they're going to crap out a bunch of, nowhere near as thought out and good things trying to compete, and it's going to be like, it's going to not work, and then they're going to be like, oh, well, I guess that's not where it is, and it'll just cut all of it off.
Yep.
Like, no more K-drama, no more K-pop, no more, because it isn't working for us. But you did it wrong.
Yeah.
That'll be the problem. Or you killed what you had, which is
I think that's more, I'm thinking they're going to kill what they have, because, like, again, Stranger Things now has become this big, bloated, very commercial. It was a good idea. It was an homage to 80s movies. It was done on a shoestring budget. The original announced this big bloated IP machine.
Star Wars, same thing.
Yep. And so, but you got to start somewhere, I guess, right? So we'll
Don't
see what
kill
happens.
it, or I'm going to be really mad at you. Anyway.
All right, we got to wrap it up.
Yep.
Please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants. We'll talk later.
Bye.
Attention, stupid humans. All orcs are evil, just like Gary Gygax and Professor Tolkien warned you. Series 1 of these orc enamel pins are on Kickstarter again for a very limited time. Pick your clan, join the Horde, and cause some mayhem. Go to badorcs.com. That's badorcs.com.